Hi, my name is Pastor Hal York, and welcome to Truth in the Trenches. Today we're going to be in Proverbs chapter 15, verse 4. We're going to read this verse in three different versions, and I think we'll get a greater perspective on what the verse is trying to tell us. A soothing tongue is a tree of life, but perversion in it crushes the spirit. Another translation says, a gentle tongue is a tree of life, but perverseness in it breaks the spirit. And one more. A wholesome tongue is a tree of life, but perverseness in it breaks the spirit. As we know, Proverbs has a great deal to say about the tongue. James 3 reminds us of the power of the tongue as well as the profound impact it can have on us and those around us. When we think of the tongue, we think of the words we say, the words we choose to say, the way we choose to say them, how loud we choose to say them, who we choose to say them to, why we choose to say the words that we say. Words are very much a part of our lives. We use them every day. It's said that we speak between 3,000 to 5,000 words a day. Research suggests that an average person hears between 20,000 and 30,000 words during the course of a 24-hour period. Now, I want to direct my thoughts to the place where we probably hear more words and say more words than any other place we go. A place where we hear more words that shape our lives in the long term than any other place we go. And it's the home. What kind of words do I speak at home? What kind of words are heard in our home? Sadly, we often guard our tongues everywhere else but in the home. Our tongues are soothing at work, they're gentle towards others, they're wholesome at church. But at home, when our guard is down, what does our tongue unguarded say about what's really going on in our hearts? It's been said, and I believe it, what we are in the home is what we really are. Just take an inventory of our conversations in your home over the last 2 days. I say over the last week, but if you're like me, that might be too convicting. But over the last 2 days, were your words to your spouse gentle? Were they soothing? Were they wholesome? Were they kind and thoughtful and considerate? Were they soothing? Were they chosen carefully to encourage, to build up, and to edify? Now, sometimes when we go to buy a present for a spouse or for a friend or someone else, there's one condition that we'll buy it with. We must be able to take it back. We won't buy it if we can't get an exchange or a refund. We won't buy it if we can't take it back, if they don't like it. Well, remember this. We can't get our words back. That's what makes them so impactful for good and dangerous. If you ever listen to court cases, sometimes a witness will say something and the judge will say, I want the jury to disregard that. I want to strike that from the record. Well, any good lawyer knows it may get struck from the record, but you can't strike it out of the mind of the jurors. It's going to be in there. You can't take it back. And when we say our words, we need to remember we can't take them back. Whenever we're done talking, what's the effect of our words on the other person? So many couples are far more considerate, thoughtful of their coworkers or friends than they are to each other. But that kindness and thoughtfulness toward others is just an act if it's not being practiced at home. You're just pretending to be those things. You guard your tongue in public, but who are you really? When the lights are off, when the camera's not rolling, when there's no one around but family, that's when the real you shows up. How about you talk to your children? Are your words chosen carefully? When you correct them, are your words meant to tear down or to build up, to correct, or just to punish? The home should be the place where our words should be chosen with greatest care because we are surrounded by people we love and care for. People who need instruction, people who need encouragement, love, and kindness and gentleness, people in whom our influence and our words are going to have a profound impact on their life. Our words should be soothing, thoughtful, and encouraging, Christ-exalting, filled with wisdom. We live in a world where verbal restraints have virtually disappeared, where the tongue has become a dagger. Words have become weapons, instruments that tear down and attack and spew forth hate and anger and bitterness. And consequently, we are seeing the negative side of this verse in the home as well as in society. Perverseness in it breaks the spirit. Broken spirit, crushed spirits, children leaving homes broken, constantly crushed under the weight of the poisonous of the tongue. Spouses looking for somewhere they can go to get away from the harshness of a bitter tongue. Our spouses, our children come home from work and school and recreation having heard thousands and thousands of words, many of which would be anything but wholesome and helpful and encouraging. Our homes need to be a place of rest, of safety for the family. Our place where our hearts are guarded and words are chosen carefully and purposefully and lovingly. And true, there are times where difficult subjects need to be confronted, discipline and so on. But even then, we need to be careful to choose the right words. Things can sometimes get heated in the marriage relationship, but we need to be careful that love, not anger, kindness, not bitterness, the Spirit of God, not the flesh, is controlling our choice of words. We do this because this is who we are. It's not an act. We're not pretending. As a believer, our hearts have been changed. And that evidence needs to be seen in how we use our tongue. We are far from perfect, and the greatest battle we have in our life is to control our tongues. But with God's help and with strength, the tongue can be harnessed, must be harnessed. We must gain control of our tongues, and the place where it becomes most obvious and most important is in the home. We speak words, so choose our words carefully. We hear words, so choose your friends carefully. Before we speak, before we choose those words, remember this: we can't take them back. It's final sales, no returns or exchanges. So as David said in Psalm 141:3, set a guard, O Lord, over my mouth. Keep watch over the door of my lips. A soothing tongue is a tree of life, but perversion in it crushes the spirit. May this truth guide us and guard us in the trenches of life as we seek to live our lives for the glory of God and the good of others. May God bless.